Hello, everybody, and welcome back to King's Advisors. So, today we're going to kind of look back to a video we made a while back on the top 5 games that we were looking forward to this year. Now, you can see all 5 of them below me right here: Skull and Bones, Homeworld 3, Company of Heroes 3, Starfield, and Hogwarts Legacy. Now, 2 of these games are not coming out this year. Skull and Bones has been postponed for the 900th time, I think. And Homeworld 3 was postponed to, I believe, March of next year is when it's supposed to come out now. That is, as far as I'm aware, its first postponement, and I don't remember the reason behind it, but it wasn't, it's not like a worrisome thing. So I still expect it to come out next year. But it's time to look at Company of Heroes 3, Starfield, and Hogwarts Legacy. Now, when I recorded the video that this backdrop is from, I said that I was most excited for Skull and Bones and Homeworld 3, and relatively excited for Starfield and Company Heroes 3, and that Hogwarts Legacy had not been on my radar really at all. That when I first heard of it, I thought it was going to be kind of a dumb game, and then actually put it on my list after a trailer came out, and I was like, you know what? This actually looks like it could be fun. And I have to say, of all 3 of the games that came out this year, Hogwarts Legacy is the best. So when I record this video, I actually have forgotten to put Jedi Survivor in it. And Jedi Survivor probably would have come in over Company of Heroes 3. But honestly, I didn't really want to re-record the video, so I left Company of Heroes 3 in, and I was still pretty excited for it because I'm a big fan of Company of Heroes, Men of War, all those. I think they're great games. So let's start with Company of Heroes 3. Wasn't impressed. You can look at Steam and all these other places that review games, and it's not a well-received game. And I think the problem is the same problem that a lot of other game companies have had over the last couple of years, and they just don't release complete games. And I think one of the things that really speaks to Relic and Sega's understanding of how unfinished this game is they actually released a new end user license agreement uh, last month, I believe, in September, that required the user, in order to play the game, to waive the right to a class action, because they're aware of the fact that we are starting to get really annoyed at game companies releasing unfinished products, and people are starting to sue these companies. And so Sega and Relic have required you to waive the right to class action in order to play the game, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think I would be surprised if that kind of stuff lasts very long. I'm just unimpressed with the game. It's a lot of like copy and paste from the second one, and not even really well. It's almost like if you've got 2 documents open and you're wanting to move what's in the right document to the left one, you select all and you copy and paste. Sometimes, though, when you copy and paste it to the new document, it loads in as the basic body format. So, like Calibri at 10, when your original document was Times New Roman 12. So, that's about as great of a metaphor as I can give to Company of Heroes 3. I'm just not impressed. A lot of it's broken. I haven't played it in months because it's not fun. There's no replayability. It's not complex. I've got a bunch of hours on Company of Heroes 2, and they're way too similar. Like, there are missions that feel like all they did was change the color of the ground. I'm not happy with what they did. I feel like we got cheated. Making a video earlier this year where I was excited for this game, I feel like I've been cheated because I told people, I think you should go buy the game and play it. But let's move on. Let's move on to some happier conversation. Starfield. So I've been really interested in Starfield. I've really been excited to play it, and I really enjoyed it up until you become Starborn, which is their version of basically forcing you into the new game plus. And so I am now on a new game and have no drive to play because I'm sitting there thinking about everything that I did in the previous game, having to either redo it or go a different route. There are some things I would like to go a different route on. In the Vanguard Crimson campaign, I'd really like to do more of the Crimson missions or get all the stuff to get more help when the Vanguard comes to attack. But I'm sitting here thinking about the, like, 3 hours I spent making my ship, and I don't wanna do that again. I don't wanna spend 3 hours making a ship again. I don't understand why Todd Howard, who has spent, 12 years giving us 19 different editions of Skyrim, decided to completely change the makeup of Bethesda. Bethesda releases games that you can replay and replay and replay. They release games where traveling is fun and effective and has purpose. In Starfield, you might as well just fast travel everywhere. You might as well find the one gun, the one piece of armor you want, and fast travel everywhere. Because it's ridiculous that it takes 5 minutes to get from any one point of interest. There's this gaming theory that says you should never ever be more than like 40 seconds from one point of interest to another. And that's because we get bored after having to walk or run 3.5 minutes in any one direction without anything happening. And that happens all the time in this game. Now, don't get me wrong, I still really enjoyed my playthrough. I really liked making my ship. I think this is a 7 out of 10 game. I think the modders are going to make it an even better game. I think when the mods start coming out, when we start being able to put Star Wars shit in there, Mass Effect, Star Trek, all this stuff, I think it's going to be an incredible game. The problem is we were lied to. Todd Howard sat there and told us that there were going to be thousands of discoverable worlds, places to go, and all this, and that's just not the truth. What happens is like there's multiple places on every map to jump into, and the place you land is computerly generated, unless it's a city, is computerly generated and is only like 10 minutes wide. So you end up actually hitting invisible walls on the planet when they told us we were going to be able to explore the entire planet. It's just not true. And it's unfortunate because there's so much about this game that should have been fun. Star Wars Outlaws comes out next year. And they've basically told us that in the trailers, at least, that we're going to be able to we're going to be able to leave the planet, fly through the atmosphere and into space without cutscenes, which is what Starfield should have been. There should have been actual space travel, not fast travel here, move around for 5 minutes, and then fast travel to a new location. But again, 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed the 80, 90 hours I put into the game. So let's get on to the belle of the ball, Hogwarts Legacy. Now, when I started this video, and in the actual video that I have been referencing, I said I didn't expect this to be in my top 5. But today, on October 2nd, Hogwarts Legacy is still my favorite game of the year. I think it has done more for the player than Starfield did, than God of War did. I didn't play God of War, so I can't really say that. I think it is incredible what it did for a fandom that had been wanting something, and I think it's incredible what's done for Warner as well. Warner made $1 billion off this game. They've already announced they're making another one. We have a Quidditch game coming out in next year, I believe. There's so much stuff that this game is going to bring back to the Harry Potter universe. And it makes me really excited because as a Harry Potter fan, you know, I loved this story. Now, I had issues with the game. It's a little too open. There's not really a lot to do outside of the castle. The Boss fight at the end was kinda dumb, but the adventure from the start to the end was still fun. It was still amazing to pick your wand and, you know, get your broom, fly around, and do actual wand combat. That was fun. So of the 5 games that I said I was the most excited for this year, Hogwarts Legacy, which came out in February, was by and away the best one. I think it has the most replay value of any of them. Again, I mean, Starfield doesn't really have replay. I mean, I guess it depends on the person. I don't find replay value in Starfield. I found replay value in Skyrim, but Starfield, I don't think there's enough diverging interests in. It could be an issue with just when I started playing Skyrim, it was later, and so like all the DLC had already come out. So that may be part of it. You know, when we get DLC for Starfield and the mods start coming out and everything, I really do think Starfield is going to be a really good game. But right now, I think game of the year is Hogwarts Legacy. As always, everybody, comment below. Do you think I'm wrong about what I said here? Do you think Starfield is the best? Should I give Company of Heroes 3 another try? Anyone else excited for Skull and Bones and Homeworld 3? And as always, like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter or X at KingsAdvisors_.